Hey, hey, hey. Hello, hello, hello. Let's hope we'll get some people tonight to join us. If you would, let me know you're here as you come in. Hey there. Say hello. Let me know you're here if you don't mind. Um, if you don't mind, let me know you're here. Say hello. Let me know you're here. You guys, this is a different platform. Hi, Chris. How are you? Oh my goodness. Long time, long time. Hope you guys are well, staying safe. Hey, everybody. Let me know when you're here. If you don't mind, if you'll share this out with someone who may need some support tonight in changing their perspective. We're going to have a really transparent conversation tonight about your perspective and how you are coping in the midst of um, 2020 and all that it has endured or all that it comes with or has come with this year. So if you don't mind, share this out. Let people know that I'm on. If it's somebody who's really struggling right now with how to maybe shift their mindset and how to refocus and get back to a good place where they can begin to strategize and make sure that we finish 2020 strong. Share this out if you would. I'd appreciate it. You guys, I am using a different system tonight. And so I can see your comments, but I cannot respond in the thread. So I'm having to use my phone to respond to you all. So if I'm looking down, it's because I am trying to make sure that I'm responding to your questions. I may not necessarily be able to respond to everybody while I'm on live or while I'm live, but I'll definitely make sure that I respond to you at some point. If not tonight, definitely tomorrow. So again, say hi. Let me know you are here. I'm so glad you're doing well, Chris. So good to see you on the live tonight. So, yeah, if you come in, say hello. Let me know you're here. I'd appreciate it. For those of you who are watching for the first time, my name is Candace B. Woods, and you guys give me hearts or something. Let me know you can hear me well. I'm assuming that you can because Chris promptly responded back to me, but I want to make sure everyone can hear me pretty well. But I'm excited about tonight because I'm able to share a little bit with you guys about the power of your perspective and encouraging you all to take some self-evaluation, take a moment to self-evaluate and see where you are with your perspective and if there needs to be a shifting or a mindset shift, if you will. So that being said, I am going to go ahead and just share with you guys really briefly about what it is that I do as the mindset architect and as a mindset coach. I help professionals, those of us who are maybe in a place where we are not sure about our purpose, or maybe you are in the helping profession and you want to become more effective. It doesn't matter if you are a person who believes that you're called to serve others, that you're called to help others succeed, whether it is on an entrepreneurial basis, or whether it is in a helping professional or a servitude or leadership capacity. I help you design, plan, and develop your destiny blueprints by aligning your will with the will of God. And a lot of times we're not being as effective as we'd like to be, simply because what we're doing is not in alignment with what God has called us to do and be. And so even in a just on my coaching platform, I am very values driven. I talk a lot about my faith and my beliefs, and a lot of times I connect with other people with similar values. And also in the corporate or the training setting, I want to connect with other believers as well, just so that we can make sure that we are holding on and holding fast to our values and belief systems, and making sure that we are doing everything that we can do. But not only that, that we're called to do what it is that we're doing. And so a lot of times that your calling and your purpose are aligned, and a lot of us are not living out our purpose, not necessarily because that's not what we desire to do. Sometimes it is a desire, but a lot of times it's because we just don't know what our purpose is, or we are struggling with our mindset. We're struggling with our thinking about ourselves, and a lot of times we think that we aren't equipped to do the calling or the purpose that God has for us, or we feel like that we're not enough. Whatever the case may be, whatever mindset struggles you're having, I help you redirect that so that you can begin to design, plan, and develop a compelling vision for your life. So, hi, Demetrius. Oh, wow. My favorite people, a couple of my favorite people are on here tonight. So good to see you. I was so good to see that you were back on Facebook. So I'm so proud of you and everything that you're doing. So look forward to connecting with you soon. So that being said, I want to talk to you guys a little bit tonight about the power of your perspective. And you guys, a lot of times when I am bringing up conversations, or if I'm bringing up topics, most times it's either a topic that someone, as far as a client, is struggling with, or it may be a topic or something that I'm personally struggling with in my life. And so over the past couple of weeks, I've had to, which I try to do throughout the year, really on a quarterly basis, and that is just reevaluating where I am with my goals, and realigning or reassessing where I am when it comes to my vision for my life and even for my business. And for me, my life and my business go hand in hand, because I am self-employed. I am a coach full time. I do have a part-time job that recently has, dwindled down a little bit just because of the pandemic. And business, just to be honest, has not been, in the past month or so, has not been where I'd like for it to be, because I have not necessarily been able to meet all of my goals, whether it was because of certain reasons dealing with the pandemic and people not just being in a place where they're able to invest right now into coaching, or it just being me and my mindset and struggling with my perspective and struggling with how can I redirect or shift my mindset and my thinking about what's going on right now. And so I've really, to be honest, struggled with distractions. I've struggled with just self-defeating thoughts at times, just having to affirm myself. I've struggled with lack of motivation, because it's just been so much going on in the world that it has really affected me in many ways. And if I wasn't careful at times, then I could have allowed it to really get me stuck and to keep me bound and to keep me in this place where I wasn't motivated to do anything, to aspire towards my goals. And so the good thing about me is that I know myself well enough to know that anytime I am struggling with my mindset, I know exactly what to do in order to shift my thinking, in order to get myself and to redirect my thinking into a positive place. And I allow myself to surround myself around other people that are who are going to encourage me and remind me of who I am. But not only that, I begin to spend more time with God and in the Word of God, because that helps me get back into realignment with where I need to go and what I need to do. So that being said, I always feel like, I'm not alone in this. There has to be someone else. There has to be other people who are struggling with the same thinking, or who are struggling with this lack of motivation, or lack of drive, or lack of focus in this season. And so we've already gone through roughly 6 months of the year, and we're starting another half of the year, in next month. And we are, have another opportunity to just reset ourselves and get us back into a place where we can begin to think about our goals, think about where we are in actually pursuing our goals and following through, and then resetting those goals if need be, in order to make sure that we finish 2020 strong. Now, that being said, I know that this is something that many of us are going to hear and we're going to talk about a lot, but I really want you to make sure that you are, hey, Kenneth, how are you? I really want to make sure that we are really and truly thinking about what we need to do to make sure that we are on the path that we need to be on, and how can we begin to shift our perspective about 2020. I'll admit, going into 2020, I was like, you know what, this is probably one of the worst years. And I started to say all of these negative things about 2020, and then I stopped myself and I said, you know what, 2020 has been challenging. It's been difficult. It's been uncomfortable. It's forcing many of us to begin to rethink where we are, what we do. It's exposing a lot of people. It's exposing a lot of prejudice and racism. Is exposing a lot of people's mindset and thinking when it comes to their own personal issues. It's exposing a lot about where you are personally, professionally, where you want to be. It's exposing a lot. It is bringing a lot of things to the forefront. And so really and truly, 2020 is necessary, because I think many of us have just been living in this fog or in this bubble, and we would have remained there if something didn't happen to interrupt our thinking and and our normal, quote unquote, our normal, and how we normally do things. So that being said, I want to talk to you about how you can begin to shift your perspective. And I'm talk to you about things that I personally have begun to implement and apply to my life, to make sure that I shift my perspective and make sure that I'm thinking from a positive perspective. Not saying 2020 is the worst year, but now 2020 has the opportunity to be one of the best years of my life if I begin to shift my perspective about it and begin to apply some of these skills that I'm going to talk to you about on tonight. So that being said, as a coach, one of the things that I normally do is I use my 3E framework. Now, my 3E framework, I utilize this in coaching. I utilize this in my workshops and my trainings. And it's really just a framework to help you simplify this process that I'm going to take you through and that I take my clients through. And it's really simple, really. Okay. And so my 3E framework is evaluate, is educate, and then it's execute. Okay. And so I'm asking you to first, right now, take a moment and ask yourself where are you with your perspective when it comes to your 2020? Are you where you want to be? Have you begun to follow through with your goals? Are you proud of where you are and what you're doing? Ask yourself these questions, and then I want you to listen as I share with you and educate you on things that you can begin to do to improve where you are in the next tomorrow. You can start applying these skills today and begin to shift your perspective in the next couple of days. And not only that, then I want you to take action, which is the execution part. Okay. And so this is a framework I utilize in everything that I do. And so tonight will be no different. So I want to start with evaluation, and I want you to ask yourself, where am I when it comes to 2020 and fulfilling the goals that you established at the beginning of the year? Now, this is the thing. Many of us aren't establishing any goals. Many times we just say we're gonna wing it. We're just gonna do it. You know, we just we start out the beginning of the year. We say we're gonna lose weight. We said we're gonna do. I'm gonna save money this year. I'm gonna find a man, or I'm gonna get married, or I'm gonna find the one. This year, I'm going to do, all these great and wonderful things. And then the rug got pulled out from up under us, and all of a sudden, all this stuff starts happening. We start seeing the loss of celebrities and very influential people in the world. We go through this pandemic and all of this political stuff, and then for many of us, we start talking about, and God starts exposing systematic racism. Other things are exposed with whether or not believers are really believers, or if they're just churchgoers. A lot of stuff is being exposed, and a lot of things are being interrupted, and our mindset is really struggling. So I want to help us begin to think about where we are in our thinking. I want you to rate yourself. Did I set my goals for the year, and have I followed through with my goals for the year up to this point? Now, if you haven't, that's okay, because we're going to have an opportunity to reset our mindset and reset our goals for the year. And I want to help you do that. Okay. And so just think about, when we talk about the power of your perspective, what does perspective really mean? What does it really mean? So perspective is all about your attitude towards, or your point of view. Now, again, if you're just coming in, we're talking about the power of your perspective, and I want to help you begin to shift your perspective. If you've been struggling like myself, dealing with distractions, lack of motivation, or lack of focus, if you've been there and you are there now, then I want you to first confess and say, hey, I need help with this. And then I want you to think about and assess where you are with your perspective about 2020. Has it been the best year or a great year, or have you kind of fell into a place where you're feeling you're a bit weary in your well doing? So even if that's where you are, that's okay, because you can shift your thinking, and I'm going to give you some things that you can begin to apply in order to get started. Okay, so again, if you're just joining me, if you would share this out, let everybody know I am on. I'd appreciate it. We're talking about the power of your perspective. And again, your perspective is your attitude towards, or your point of view. It's your attitude towards where you are in life as of right now, or your point of view, your perspective about something. And we're talking specifically about your perspective of 2020. Okay, now I don't want anybody to get out here and go into this negative Nancy kind of rant about politics and all that stuff. That's not what this is about. This is about you and your goal setting, the goals that you set for yourself, and how productive, how effective, how much have you been able to follow through with those goals. And if you're not where you want to be, I want to talk to you tonight about how you can shift it and how you can begin to change it. All right. And so you guys know me. If you follow me, if you watched me, you know that I am one who just believes in applying biblical principles and applying the word of God to what I do. And so for me, what's come to mind a lot in these past couple of weeks, just in spending time with God and just doing my quiet time, Romans 12:2, it says, do not be conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So we're on Transformation Tuesday. So if you want to transform your mind or renew your mind, or you want a transformation, then you have to begin to renew your mind. And renewing your mind is an action word. It is a verb. Therefore, that means that you have to take steps in order to renew your mind. And I'm going to talk to you tonight about 4 ways you can begin to renew your mind. 4 things you can begin to do in order to renew your mind. Okay. And so, again, if you're there and you're watching, this is helpful to you. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments for me. I'll be happy to address them at the end, and answer your questions to the best of my ability. Okay. All right. So, 4 ways you can begin to renew your mind. Okay. And so, the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to ask God for protection and direction. All right. Ask God to protect your mind, to guard your mind. And then ask Him for direction. What do I need to do? Where do I need to go? What steps do I need to take in order to begin to shift and change my perspective from where it is now to what it needs to be? So, when you are, many of us are, we're looking at this pandemic and we're saying to ourselves, you know what, this has been one of the worst years of my life. I've seen a lot of people distressed out about, jobs, not knowing what to do, fear, not knowing, if you're going to be able to get back on track. I get it, because as an entrepreneur, I'm struggling with the same things. And so, one of the things that we have to do is we have to seek God like never before and ask Him for His protection, meaning to guard our minds in this season of uncertainty. God, guard my mind and help me to begin to not get distracted. Help me not to get to a point of depression. Help me not to get to a point of oppression. Help me not to get to a point where I am speaking negativity and that I am mean or angry or resentful. Help me guard my mind and help me to stay focused, and help me to begin to focus on you and focus on my purpose and focus on what it is that you will have me to do and be. And then, God, give me direction. Help me to have strategy that I can begin to apply to my life today to work towards the purpose and the plan that you have for me. If you are struggling with your job, the pandemic a lot of times didn't get you to this point where you hated your job or where you disliked your job, because many of us disliked or hated our jobs before the pandemic even happened, and we only stayed there because it was comfortable. And so now God has given you an open door, and He's giving you an opportunity to reinvent yourself, to learn something new, to learn a new skill, to maybe learn how you can start your business, to write a book, whatever the case may be. He's giving you an open door, a new opportunity to do that. And this is a great time, instead of being home, being depressed, eating up everything that you have in your house, gaining weight. I'm preaching to myself. Instead of doing that, how can you begin to shift your perspective? And the first thing that you can do is just begin to ask God for direction and protection. Okay. And so, seeking God, and asking Him. The word says, lean not into your own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. Just ask God for direction. God, what do you want me to do in this season? What do you want me to do right now? What do you want me to work on right now? Okay. And so, just seek God for a direction and instruction. Okay. All right. Number 2, ask yourself, are my thoughts self-defeating? When you think about yourself, when you think about where you see yourself in this world, when you think about the first thoughts that come to mind about yourself, are they self defeating, meaning they are negative thoughts, or are they positive thoughts? What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about yourself and your circumstances? So if you are defeating yourself, and if you're talking down to yourself, if you are belittling yourself, if you're constantly asking yourself, how did I get here? And you're beating yourself up, then you are self-defeating, right? And so I want you to change that, and I want you to be mindful that that's not healthy, and that's not going to get you where you want to be. Okay. And so, in order for you to have a transformation and to begin to renew your mind, you have to identify and recognize that when you are beating yourself up, and when you are engaged in what I call, or what I've heard of as stinking thinking, right? And so when you engage in that, and that becomes a pattern of behavior, then you have to unlearn that, and you have to begin to think more positive, and think more positive about yourself, and begin to shift your thinking about yourself. Okay. And so something that I've been reading recently is a Bible plan that I've been reading. It's called Mind Connection, and it's by Joyce Myers. I encourage that if you have a YouVersion Bible app, I encourage that you look that particular Bible plan up. It has been very helpful to me. And it's encouraged me in moments to be mindful of my thoughts, and to be mindful of the things that I speak out of my mouth, because there's power in the tongue. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. And so I have to be mindful of what I am saying, not just about others and about the world, but what I'm saying about myself as well. So that's number two. Ask yourself, are my thoughts self-defeating? Okay. Are your thoughts discouraging, or are you encouraging yourself? All right. Number three, I want you to redirect those self-defeating thoughts by affirming yourself. Now, affirmations are just simply um, positive self-talk that we say in the clinical world, but it's also also like making a declaration about yourself. Even though I don't see myself where I want to see myself, I am speaking it, I am calling it out, and I am using positive statements to affirm myself and to encourage myself. Now, normally when I teach this skill set in coaching, and before when I taught it in counseling, one of the things that I would often do was say, use an I statement. Okay, and it starts with I, and then it's I am, or I will, and it's just a statement that states your direction, a statement that states yourself, envisioning yourself somewhere in a positive place, in a good place. And you're envisioning yourself before you actually see yourself there. And so it's a way to make sure that you are that, again, life and death is in the power of the tongue. And so the more you begin to speak positive things and encourage yourself, the more you will begin to see that your mood is boosting, and your mood is more positive, and that you're feeling better about yourself, and that you're feeling better about your circumstances and where you are. So you want to affirm yourself, and you want to encourage yourself, and you have to do that intentionally. If I had to do that just this week in the mornings when I am doing my morning workout, which is another thing that I'm applying to my life at this point, to make sure that I am boosting my mood, and getting more energy, is exercise. And so when I'm exercising in the morning, or whatever time I'm exercising, and I'm doing some cardio and just walking, A lot of times I am just speaking life into myself and I'm encouraging myself. And I oftentimes use a scripture to encourage myself, to affirm myself. And you can do that as well. But one of the things that I do in coaching is I help my clients begin to write affirmations for themselves. And based off of whatever self-defeating thought that they engage in, I help them identify an affirmation that they can utilize to redirect that thinking. Okay. And so that's something that you can do as well. Okay. So you want to affirm yourself, and you want to encourage yourself. And then last but not least, you want to forgive yourself. Self-compassion is so important. And a lot of times we struggle with self-compassion. We struggle with forgiving ourselves because we can hold on to stuff far more that we do, and the mistakes that we made far more than we will hold on to what someone else has done. And a lot of times we judge ourselves and what we do or what we allow to happen that we should have known better. I'm too old to be in this place. I can't believe I allowed this to happen to myself again, especially when we get caught up in cycles, when we get caught up in um, patterns of behavior or generational patterns of thinking, um, especially when we get to that point and we find ourselves just kind of going back into circles over and over and over again. And we thought that we were done. We thought that we matured. We thought that we gotten out of this place, but we find ourselves back in the same place over and over again. And a lot of times that can be because of our doing. Again, it's because of our mindset and our perspective and our thinking about ourselves, which causes us to go back into those same type of cycles. But a lot of times it can also be due to um, unforeseen circumstances. You may not always be the reason why you're in the circumstances that you're in. It's all about how you choose to see, or all about your perspective. Okay. And so earlier this week, there was a quote that I posted. Well, earlier this week was yesterday. Okay. And so one of the posts that I posted on yesterday, and I'm going to pull it up real quick because I want to make sure that I get it correct. There's a quote, and it's by Charles Swindle, and it says, "Life is 10% of what happens to you, and it's 90% how you react to it." So that tells me you have a choice. You have a choice how you see yourself, how you feel about yourself, how you choose to show up in the world, how you choose to see 2020 and your perspective about 2020 is a matter of choice. And you can choose to do something different. You can choose to think something different. If you are in a situation where you say, you know what, I hated my job, and now you've been furloughed and you now are able to get unemployment benefits, and you're sitting at home and you're wondering, okay, when this pandemic is over, what am I going to do with myself? Instead of constantly constantly allowing, and I'm not saying necessarily that unemployment is gonna cover all your bills, even though I do believe, um, right now, unemployment seems to be very helpful to some people, and may even be a little bit more income than some people have gotten before. But at the same time, it's better than not having anything, right? Number one, that's a different perspective. That's a different way to look at it. Number two, this can also be an opportunity for you to reinvent yourself. If you know that you would prefer to be to work towards being an engineer, or you know that your passion has always been about mentoring other young men, which we need that more and more today than ever. If you know that your desire or your passion has been about doing hair, if you know that your passion has been about helping children, teaching, Whatever the case may be, if you're not living that out and you're not doing what you love, this is an opportunity for you to change your perspective and to reinvent yourself, to begin to do what it is that you love. And there's a way to do that. There are things that you can begin to do now to do that. As a matter of fact, there are educational courses that are being offered for free right now that have never been offered for free, for you to be able to either to go back to school, to get a certification, to get your degree. As a matter of fact, I think I saw a post today that was for scholarships that were untapped, for people to go into the medical profession, and especially if you were a female and you're black. If you want to go into medicine and become a doctor, there are schools that are right now, one in particular that I know of, that is offering free money and scholarships for you to go to school to get your degree, or to begin that process. And so, for many of us, it's not only a lack of knowledge, but it's also a lack of motivation, and it's a lack of forgiveness for ourselves. And we choose to see ourselves where we are, and we're living right now, not just in a place of lack when it comes to property or money, but we're living in a place of lack when it comes to our mindset and our thinking. And we become slaves to this mindset and this level of thinking that this is all life has for me, and this is all that's going to happen for me. I do understand we're living in a time where we have a lot of pressure, where we have a lot of responsibility on our backs. When we are seeing so much going on in our world with people that we love and people that we care about, and many of us are really struggling. And I really and truly want to help us get unstuck. And I really and truly want to help us get to a better place with that. Okay. Hey, Tiffany, good to see you. And so, yeah, exactly, Tiffany. Yeah, God has more for us. And so we have to begin to believe it, but we also have to begin to take action as well. So that being said, I'm going to give you an opportunity that you can begin to take these skills, take the things that I've shared with you on tonight, and begin to apply them. Begin to apply them. And you can do this by just participating in my mindset reset challenge. Okay, my mindset reset challenge. I'm excited about this because it is an opportunity for you to begin to shift your mindset and your thinking about where you are, and think about where you want to be. There's this this exercise that we've been taught, called visualization. We teach this in counseling and therapy. But I still use a lot of the skill sets that I used when I was working as a counselor for another organization. And even though I am not a licensed counselor and I do not practice mental health counseling, which is what I have a degree for, I still apply a lot of the skill sets to what I do in coaching, of course, within limits. Because I cannot diagnose or anything like that, but I can educate you. I can educate you, and that's what I do. And so, visualization for educational purpose is just simply seeing yourself, is putting yourself in a positive place, is putting yourself physically in a place where you can calm yourself, where you can really begin to just put your mind and your focus on yourself in another place, right? And so it could be, right now I see a lot of people right now, they're saying, oh, I just could use a vacation to the beach. And many people actually started going to the beach when states were opening up. And now we're in a position where questions are being asked about whether or not they're going to start closing states back up. New York said, y'all, we can't come over there. Okay. And so now we're back to square one. And so, the questions are, did we open back up too soon? etc. And it really doesn't matter whether we did or we didn't. At this particular point, we know that COVID-19 is still very much alive and well. It did not go away just because when it got hot. As a matter of fact, it's on an uprise again, simply because people have their own perspective about whether or not they should or shouldn't practice social distancing, or should or shouldn't use a mask, etc. Okay. As for me and me, I will wear a mask. As for me and me, I'm going to limit my surroundings and who I surround myself around. Not necessarily because of me. Yeah, I do not want to get COVID-19. Thankfully, I'm healthy. I do not have a whole lot of health issues where I believe I would be affected. But I do have two parents who have health issues, and I do not want to expose them to potentially expose COVID-19 to them. And so I'm mindful of that. And so I'm mindful of others. So therefore, because I'm mindful of others, I'm going to limit my interactions and limit where I go and who I'm around. That being said, none of that matters. What matters is your perspective. What matters is, what are you going to do with this opportunity, with the opportunity that you've been given? Because whether you believe it or not, when you're forced to social distance and you're forced to spend time with yourself, then this is the best time for you to evaluate where you are and where you want to be. And practicing visualization, beginning to see yourself before you see yourself, meaning in my mind, my heart, and my spirit, I see myself being a millionaire. I see myself being a business owner. I see myself being married. I see myself being happy and living out my purpose. I see myself doing what I have been called and created to do. I see myself before I see myself. I see it in my heart, mind, and spirit before I actually see it with my eyes. And that is something that we need to begin to practice doing. And that is envisioning ourselves before we get there. And so I want to help you do that. I want to help you begin to shift your mindset and your thinking, your perspective. Right now, I want you to shift it, and I want you to begin to do the work. And I want to help you do that. I want to help you do that. And so I want you to go to my website, www.candicebwoods.com. It's a new website, simple, nothing to it really. It's just what you need to know, right? And so on my website, you will see um, a brief description of who I am, and then right under that there will be buttons, and there's this little gold button that says my mindset reset challenge. And I want you to join me for my mindset reset challenge. Now, my mindset reset challenge, it will begin July 13th. I'm giving us the first week because there's a lot going on for me that first week. And so the second week of July, I'm going to help you begin to shift your mindset, and we're going to engage in a challenge. And so again, I want you to go to CandicebWoods.com. If you want the link to sign up for that challenge, then just simply comment challenge in the thread, and I will give you the link. All right. So you got 2 weeks to sign up. 2 weeks to sign up. And we're going to have 5 days where we're going to work together on your mindset. And we're going to start working on goal setting. Okay. I mentioned that before. And a lot of times we don't set goals, or we don't set realistic goals. And so I want to help us know and learn how to set realistic, actionable goals that you can begin to set for yourself and actually follow through with it. But then we're going to talk about things like prioritizing and decluttering. Decluttering isn't just decluttering your space, even though a busy or a crowded space can often lead to a decreasing your mood or sad mood, decluttering your mind is necessary as well. So I want to help you focus on how you can begin to get rid of self-defeating thoughts. And we're going to talk about how you can begin to affirm yourself. Okay. We're going to talk about prioritizing. Some of us, we have our priorities in the wrong order. And when you begin to visualize yourself, where you want to go and where you want to be, and have a vision for your life, this is what I do, you guys. I help you design a compelling vision for your life. And so if you don't have vision, the word of God says, without a vision, the people will perish. If you do not have a vision for your life, if you do not have an idea of where you're going, it doesn't matter on how long it's going to take you to get there, but you got to know. You got to know where you're going. You got to know where you're heading. Right? If you want to be a wife, then guess what? You need to have a vision, and you need to be able to think and behave as a wife before you get there. And so if you want to be a husband, you have to begin to align yourself and begin to get yourself into a place where you can become a husband before you get there. Becoming a husband or a wife does not start at the altar. It starts with your mindset and your thinking. Right? If you want to be a boss, if you want to be an entrepreneur, and you're tired of always following or tired of always being under somebody else, that's easier said than done, but you can do it. You just have to have a vision for how you're going to do that. You may have to start off by saying, okay, you know what? I'm not ready to leave my job yet. Or you may have income coming in, and maybe you lost your job, you were furloughed, and you said, you know what, I'm not ready to start my business today, but in the next 3 months, if I save this amount of money, if I save that extra $600 that I'm getting from unemployment, if I start a savings account, I can potentially save enough money to start this business in the next 3 to 6 months. I could potentially save this money to be able to make that investment that I need to make. I can do, I can begin to work towards a plan, or work towards setting a budget, or work towards getting the things that I need to get done, the certifications, or whatever you need. I can start working towards that in order to get to where I need to go. But again, you got to have a vision. You got to know where you're going, and then you got to fill it in by setting goals and then beginning to follow through by completing those goals. And this particular challenge, the Mindset Reset Challenge, is going to help you do that. When you leave this challenge, you're going to have a strategic plan, or the beginning of a strategic plan on where you need to go in order to make your vision happen. And I want to help you do that. So again, go to CandiceBWoods.com. There's a gold button right under the description of who I am, a gold button that says Mindset Reset Challenge. I want you to go there, click on that, and I want you to go ahead and sign up to be a part of my challenge. It will start July 13th through I think it's the 17th, whatever that week is, that Monday through Friday. We'll be there that whole week, and I'll be sending you more information on next week, early next week, on what you can begin to do to prepare for the challenge. Okay. And so I'll be sending it to your email. So you just go ahead, sign up, give me your email, and then I'll send you the information and the details from there. It's also a cute little video that I recorded just for you, just so that I could explain to you what to expect. Okay. All right, all right, all right. That's all, y'all. That's all I got. That's all, folks. That's all I got for y'all tonight. I hope that this was helpful. If you watch the replay, please let me know you were here. Say hello. Say, hey, Candace, replay. I was here. Give me feedback. Let me know if this was helpful information. Share this out with others. Let other people know that we have the challenge going on. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the challenge. Okay. All right. Good night. Thank you so, so much. I'll see you guys on next week, or maybe I'll see you later in the week. All right. God bless you. God keep you. See you. Good night.